speaker is Russo.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Great. I'm glad to hear that. I'm very excited to be here. We've all been working very hard for months on this campaign, and I feel like today we've hit a next step. I am Rob Russo. I am a Bridgeporter. I'm a lawyer. I run my own law firm. It's a small business, like what Rob was talking about. I help people buy homes, refinance their mortgages, deal with issues with landlords and tenants. I'm also a college professor. I teach Introduction to American Government at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield. And I'm running for Congress because, like many of you, I'm really upset with what I see in Washington. It's like they've got the whole process backwards. The Democrats are convinced the only way to solve our nation's problems are through larger government, more government control, and more taxes and spending. Well, as I think we all agree, it's time we send them a wake-up call. And we remind them about a little document called the United States Constitution that they all seem to be ignoring. Because guess what? Big government is not the answer to our problems. More taxes are not the answer to our problems. And frankly, giving up more individual responsibility to an over-controlling government is not going to help this country move in the direction we want it to move in. Let's look back at the last year, starting with the stimulus bill. The stimulus bill. That was the governmental version of highway robbery. And the worst part about it is they used our own economic struggle as an excuse to rob us blind. They spent $890 billion that they promised us, if they passed, unemployment would not go above 8%. Well, where is it today? It's over 10%. And what did they spend that money on? $16 million to bail out a mouse habitat in San Francisco. $6 million to Hillary Clinton's presidential pollster. $900 million went to the Gaza Strip. How does that create jobs in America? Where were tax incentives for small businesses? Where were cuts to the payroll tax that encourage people to hire people? Heck, even Chris Dodd, somebody I'm not going to want to quote in this campaign, said, there's no stimulus like getting someone a job. But all the government did was raise taxes and spend money. Then they turned their attention to health care. And health care has two aspects to it. The first of which, of course, is the money. Now, the federal deficit currently is $1.4 trillion. The deficit is $1.4 trillion. Do you know what the size of the entire federal budget was in 1992? The year I graduated high school, the year before I graduated high school? $1.4 trillion. That was the entire budget. Now that's just our deficit. And they passed a health care bill that spends an additional, well, they're in the process of passing a health care bill, that spends an additional $1.2 trillion, but doesn't address the fundamental problem with health care. There's nothing in there that actually reduces the cost of our health care. They had no option that made it more competitive, that gave us the ability to choose more plans. There's no option in there that encouraged portability, so you could bring your health care with you from one job to the next. And certainly they did absolutely nothing to cut down on the trial lawyers and the expensive and dangerous lawsuits that drive up malpractice costs. But they did add $800 billion in new taxes. Taxes that will primarily be paid for by small business. And they did that with a 10% unemployment rate. And healthcare is about a lot more than just money. My family has been doctors in the Bridgeport area for over 60 years. We know something about healthcare. Healthcare is about freedom. It's about the ability to choose the decisions for your body and who helps you make those decisions. And I don't know if the Democrats in Washington are lying to you or lying to themselves when they say that they're not going to make your health care decisions for you. But if government pays for health care, government will make health care decisions. And we've already had a little bit of a preview of that. We saw a few months ago when the federal government, wow, well, I've got to learn how to give this speech quicker. We saw how the federal government makes health care decisions when a few months ago they released a study that said that women under the age of 50 shouldn't have mammograms. Now, my father's a radiologist, takes 25,000 mammograms a year, and was apoplectic when he heard that. He can name 12 women under the age of 50 whose lives have been saved by mammograms. Our own Deborah Hubby from Monroe, her life was saved by a mammogram before the age of 50. Is this the sort of logic we want in our healthcare system? Absolutely not. We need to send a message. Stop, especially when it comes to healthcare, because they may do irreparable damage. And I'll look forward to talking about these issues more. Thank you. Thank you all for coming this afternoon. This very exciting race is just beginning, and I hope there'll be numerous other opportunities like this for you to get to know us all. A little bit about me. In 2008, I was elected as the Republican state senator from Bridgeport, Trumbull, and Monroe. Yes, a Republican from Bridgeport. In a district that's outnumbered by Democrats. Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. It took me 3 elections to get there. You know what? Public service for me has never been about holding office. It's been about standing up for what's right. And I knew when I got there, frankly, that my time might be short. So I wanted to leave my mark, and I fought very hard to get a complete audit and management study done in the Bridgeport Board of Education. I did that because that's the most important issue in my city, but I also did it because that's all your money. As Rick said earlier, the state taxpayers pay 85% of our Board of Education budget. $240 million is the entire budget. 85% of that's paid for by the state. And before I got to Hartford, no one in Hartford bothered to say, hey, Bridgeport, what are you doing with our money? Well, they were wasting it. And thanks to my efforts, that's going to be changed. Now, of course, when the Obama landslide came around in 2008, it was pretty hard to hold on to the seat, having Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. But it's that same attitude that I brought to Hartford that I want to bring to Washington. Because we need to return to core Republican principles. Not spending money we don't have. Accountability. Responsibility. We have to bring back federalism and let the state have control of the issues. I believe I'm the candidate that can do that. I'm a candidate who has experience taking a Republican message to traditionally not Republican voters. We also, when we look for someone to represent us, we need to find someone that knows this diverse district. And from my time with Chris Shays, or as the director of the Governor Rell's Fairfield County office, I've had the opportunity for almost 15 years now to work and travel up and down the coast throughout the wonderful 4th Congressional District. Please visit my website, russoforcongress.com, where you can learn more, and I'll stick around for questions. Thank you.